Capcom was interviewed by Game Informer for some rapid-fire questions about the Resident Evil 4 Remake. We're going to cover the most important questions asked so you can stay up to date about what to expect from this game. Oh, and by the way, that cookie is still up for grabs if you want to subscribe. It usually ships between 3 to 5 business years. But let's dive in. The Resident Evil 4 Remake will follow the events of the RE2 Remake. After escaping Raccoon City, 6 years pass. It then follows into Leon goes on his first assignment from the president to rescue his daughter from evil cultists somewhere in Spain. This time around, just like the original, the game will not have a persistent enemy, meaning there will be no Mr. X type foe that will seem unstoppable, similar to the original. But before the next question was asked, the producer said that maybe there is an enemy going to make an appearance, but they will not mention it in this interview. The village is bigger in the remake than it was in the original, says the director, which I'm glad to hear about, seeing how they expanded it with more areas to search. In a previous video, it was mentioned that QuickTime events would be removed as they weren't as popular in the modern day. But in this interview, it was mentioned as almost none, said by the producer. I suspect 2 or 3 will still be in the remake, like running away from the boulders, as it was mentioned later in this interview about mashing the button faster to move at a faster rate. When asked about treasure being looted from birds' nests, it was answered as if the question was, are there still bird nests? But we can assume treasure will still be found in locations like secret areas as well as the bird nests. The hookman that everyone, myself included, thought was going to be in this game, it's been confirmed that there will be no appearance of him at all in the remake. For the knives only, if the achievement like in RE8 for a knife only run returns, it may not be possible as there are some areas where guns are an absolute. Although, if parts like these are excluded, for anyone hoping to knife only or want an achievement for it, it's possible. When asked about the scariest enemy in the remake, at least I can assume the remake, but I could be wrong, the director and producer responded with a Garrador and Regenerator. This isn't 100% confirmation that they will appear in the remake, as the question pertains to Resident Evil 4 and the remake not being mentioned, but it is certain that they will return. Highly doubtful to remove 2 iconic monsters from the game. Now, if there are any new enemies in the game, they are hiding them to the full extent, only to be said that there are enemies with new looks, and that's literally it. The castle will return, and as we may already know this from other trailer footage, we are going to be learning more about Salazar from the files we collect around the castle and in general throughout the game. The Krauser fight, or fights, if it stays with 2 interactions, he is even more powered up from the original and still enjoys his knife engagement. I'm hoping like the original, after the first encounter, we get to keep and use his knife. If we do, I hope it's not like the rest of the knives where once it's used up, it can't be repaired. I would love to upgrade it, and if it's better than Leon's original knife, replace it with that as a main. Okay. When mentioning the dog again, the director responds with, I mean, unless someone does a DNA check, nobody knows that the dog is the one you guys are talking about. I think this is a reference to the first dog we encounter in the 12-minute gameplay footage, but everything seems to be dodged when in reference to this. The dog is alive, plain and simple. With this being a reoccurring question, Capcom wouldn't dare upset the fans as they mentioned. Have high hopes, you guys. For all the PlayStation 5 players out there, the DualSense feature will be provided, so customize it to your heart's content. Mike, the pilot from the island section, has a few more appearances in the game. The island part I'm sure, but I'm happy to hear that Mike gets a little more into the action in the remake. They might still kill him off in the end, but I have high hopes that Sadler doesn't do that, and Mike is our way of escape this time around after the Sadler fight. It's my own way of dreaming, it doesn't mean it's true. Now for the island, it is not bigger than the original. It's about the same size, but it has been changed in some ways besides graphical improvements. There is a noticeable difference we will all see, says the director. The first cops we see at the start of the original will have a better introduction than before, being a young cadet and the other one a veteran, as well as when the producer talked to the art director about making the key art, he asked him to have them depicted before they go to pick up Leon. Something like talking in their patrol car at a police station, seen from a perspective behind them. And as for Ada Wong, her part plays a pretty big role with Leon as the story progresses. With that being said, we can hope to see a separate ways story along with the game. I've been asked about this, and I know for a fact that a known leaker on Twitter by the name of 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗕 has mentioned that he knows more about it, but he's waiting on Capcom to give some insight into it. I'm personally hoping and rooting for the knife only to be an achievement, as well as getting to try it out in the game. I also look forward to seeing exactly how much of a power boost 𝗦𝗡zr actually gets. I'm sure the fight is going to be one to remember. But what do you guys think about all this information from the interview with the director and producer? You can find the interview link in the description below. Drop me a like and subscribe for more RE4 Remake content. I hope you're all doing very well, and I'll see you soon.